Welcome back to the channel. Now, I have a question for you. What's the one thing that has captivated humanity for centuries? It's the promise of adventure, the thrill of the unknown, and the allure of unimaginable wealth. I'm talking about lost treasure. These aren't just fairy tales or Hollywood blockbusters. They are real stories of immense fortunes, swallowed by the sea, hidden by conflict, or buried in the most remote corners of our planet, just waiting to be found. From pirate hordes to the spoils of war, these legends have fueled countless expeditions and obsessed generations of hunters. Today, we're embarking on our own expedition, a virtual one, to count down 5 of the most famous and valuable treasures that remain lost to this day. We're going to peel back the layers of myth and history, follow the clues, and explore the incredible stories behind these legendary fortunes. We'll journey from the depths of the ocean to the peaks of forbidding mountains, all in pursuit of gold, jewels, and priceless artifacts that have vanished from the pages of history. So grab your gear, because this is going to be one heck of a ride. As we go through this list, I want you to do something for me. Put yourself in the shoes of the treasure hunter. Imagine you're the one who finally cracks the code, who finds that one missing piece of the map. Picture the moment your shovel strikes not dirt, but the lid of a wooden chest, or when your submersible's lights glint off a mountain of gold coins on the seafloor. What would that feel like? That's the dream that keeps these stories alive. So, are you ready? Let's begin our countdown of the world's greatest lost treasures. Our countdown begins at number 5, with a treasure so vast it almost sounds unbelievable. We're heading to the Strait of Malacca, off the coast of Sumatra, in search of a legendary Portuguese carrack, the Flor de la Mar, or Flower of the Sea. This wasn't just any ship. In the early 16th century, it was one of the grandest vessels in the Portuguese Navy, a key player in their conquest of the East. After a brutal battle to capture the Sultanate of Malacca in 1511, the ship was loaded with an obscene amount of plunder. We're talking about spoils from the Sultan's palace, tribute from the Kingdom of Siam, and years of accumulated wealth. It was, quite simply, the richest treasure haul in Portugal's history. The problem with loading a 400-ton ship with that much gold is that it makes it, well, a bit top-heavy and unstable. As the Flor de la Mar set sail for Portugal, carrying its legendary cargo, it sailed directly into a violent storm. The ship was torn apart by the fierce winds and waves, and it sank in the blink of an eye, taking its incredible fortune down with it. The ship's captain, the famed Admiral Afonso de Albuquerque, barely escaped with his life on a makeshift raft, but the treasure was lost to the depths. For 500 years, divers and treasure hunters have scoured the seafloor, hoping to find this legendary wreck. So what exactly are they looking for? The historical accounts are staggering. The manifest is said to have included 60 tons of gold, over 200 chests filled with precious gemstones like diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, and priceless artifacts, including a solid gold, jewel-encrusted throne. The estimated value today is in the billions, with a B. It's a fortune that could change the world for whoever finds it. The challenge is the location. The seabed in the Strait of Malacca is murky, the currents are treacherous, and centuries of shifting sands could have buried the wreck completely. The Flower of the Sea remains the ultimate sunken prize, a ghost of the age of discovery, guarding its golden secret. Coming in at number 4 is a treasure of a different kind. It's not about gold coins in a chest, but an entire room made of gold and precious materials, a masterpiece of art and architecture known as the Amber Room. Commissioned in the early 18th century for the King of Prussia, this opulent chamber was constructed from over 6 tons of amber panels, all backed with gold leaf and decorated with intricate carvings and dazzling mosaics. It was so breathtakingly beautiful that it was dubbed the 8th wonder of the world. A few years after it was completed, it was gifted to the Russian Tsar, Peter the Great, as a symbol of alliance, and was installed in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, where it mesmerized visitors for nearly 2 centuries. Then came World War II. As Nazi forces advanced on St. Petersburg, then called Leningrad, curators at the palace knew the Amber Room was in grave danger. They tried to disassemble it, but the ancient amber had become brittle and started to crumble. In a desperate attempt to save it, they covered the ornate walls with simple wallpaper, hoping the German soldiers would overlook it. But the Nazis were not fooled. They knew exactly what they were looking for. They carefully dismantled the entire room, panel by panel, packed it into 27 crates, and shipped it off to Königsberg Castle in Germany, which was then a Nazi stronghold. And that's the last place it was ever definitively seen. In 1945, as the war drew to a close and the Allies bombed Königsberg into rubble, the Amber Room vanished. Did it burn in the fires that consumed the castle? Was it loaded onto a ship that was sunk in the Baltic Sea? Or, as many believe, was it spirited away by panicked Nazi officials in the final days of the war and hidden in a secret bunker, an abandoned mine, or a salt cave somewhere in the mountains of Europe? The search has been one of the most intense in history, involving intelligence agencies, historians, and treasure hunters. The Amber Room isn't just lost wealth, it's a lost masterpiece, a ghost of history waiting to be rediscovered. For our number 3 spot, we're leaving the old world behind and heading to the rugged, sun-scorched landscape of the American Southwest. Our destination, the Superstition Mountains of Arizona. This is the home of one of America's most enduring legends, the Lost Dutchman's Mine. The story is pure Old West folklore, a tale of gold, greed, and a mysterious death. It all revolves around a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman in the story, a common misnomer for Deutsch or German at the time. Waltz supposedly stumbled upon a mind-bogglingly rich gold mine deep within the treacherous canyons of the Superstitions in the late 19th century. Waltz would periodically show up in the nearby town of Phoenix with saddlebags full of incredibly pure gold ore, but he fiercely guarded the location of his source. He was a secretive man, and the mountains themselves were steeped in dark legends with tales of miners who went in seeking their fortune and were never seen again. On his deathbed in 1891, Waltz is said to have described the location of his mine to a neighbor, Julia Thomas, giving her a series of cryptic clues involving landmarks like a pointed peak, a cave, and a view of the setting sun. But the clues were vague, the landscape is vast and unforgiving, and no one has ever been able to follow them to the prize. Ever since Waltz's death, thousands of prospectors known as Dutch hunters have descended on the Superstition Mountains, obsessed with finding his lost mine. The search has become an obsession for many, and a deadly one for some. Dozens of people have vanished or died under mysterious circumstances while searching for the gold, adding to the mine's cursed reputation. Is there really a motherlode of gold hidden in those hills? Or is it just a tall tale that got out of hand? No one knows for sure, but the promise of a lost gold mine, a classic story of the American frontier, continues to draw adventurers into the heart of the desert, chasing the ghost of Jacob Waltz. At number 2, we have a story that sounds like it was ripped straight from a pirate adventure movie, complete with a daring heist, a treacherous sea captain, and a buried treasure of epic proportions. This is the legend of the Treasure of Lima. The year is 1820 and revolution is sweeping across South America. The city of Lima, Peru, the seat of Spanish colonial power, is on the verge of being captured by rebel forces. The Spanish viceroy, fearing his vast wealth would fall into enemy hands, decides he needs to get it out of the city. We're talking about the collected riches of Lima's cathedrals and nobility, a staggering hoard accumulated over centuries. The viceroy entrusted this immense fortune to an English sea captain named William Thompson and his ship, the Mary Dear. The plan was for Thompson to sail the treasure to the safety of Mexico. The cargo was immense life-size solid gold statues of the Virgin Mary and the Apostles, hundreds of chests of gold and silver coins, and countless jewels and precious artifacts. But the temptation was too great. Once at sea, Captain Thompson and his crew had a change of heart. They murdered the Spanish guards who were accompanying the treasure and set a new course, not for Mexico, but for Cocos Island, a remote, uninhabited volcanic island off the coast of Costa Rica. According to the legend, Thompson and his men buried the entire treasure deep within the island's jungle terrain. Soon after, their ship was captured by a Spanish warship. Most of the crew were executed for piracy, but Thompson and his first mate supposedly struck a deal. They would lead the Spanish back to the treasure in exchange for their lives. But, of course, once they reached Cocos Island, they managed to escape into the dense jungle, disappearing forever, and taking the secret of the treasure's location with them. For 200 years, hundreds of expeditions have tried to find it, turning Cocos Island into a labyrinth of empty pits and broken dreams. The Treasure of Lima remains the ultimate pirate's prize, buried somewhere beneath the jungle canopy. And now we've arrived at number 1 on our countdown. This is the big one, the treasure that has inspired more conspiracy theories, books, and movies than any other. We are talking about the legendary lost treasure of the Knights Templar. The Templars were a powerful Catholic military order founded in the 12th century during the Crusades. For nearly 200 years, they were one of the most skilled fighting units of their time, but they were also much more. They developed the world's first international banking system, amassing enormous wealth and power across Europe and the Holy Land. They owned land, castles, and entire fleets of ships. They were, in short, incredibly rich. Their downfall was as swift as their rise was meteoric. King Philip IV of France, who was deeply in debt to the order, grew jealous and fearful of their power. On Friday, October 13, 1307, a date that has been considered unlucky ever since, King Philip ordered the simultaneous arrest of all Templars in France. He accused them of heresy, tortured them into false confessions, and eventually had the order disbanded by the Pope. The king seized their properties and assets, but when his men raided the Templar stronghold in Paris, they found the main treasury was mysteriously empty. The vast majority of the Templars' legendary wealth had simply vanished. So, where did it go? That is the billion-dollar question that has fascinated historians and treasure hunters for 700 years. The theories are endless. Some believe the treasure was smuggled out of Paris just before the raids and loaded onto the Templar fleet, which then set sail for an unknown destination, perhaps Scotland, Portugal, or even North America, long before Columbus. Others believe it's hidden in a secret chamber beneath Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, a place filled with Templar symbolism. And some even speculate that the treasure wasn't just gold and silver, but something far more valuable, like the Holy Grail itself. The Templar treasure is more than just lost riches. It's the ultimate historical mystery, a secret protected by a shadowy order lost to the fog of time. And there you have it, 5 of the most incredible, most valuable, and most mysterious lost treasures in the world. From a sunken Portuguese galleon to the secret hoard of the Knights Templar, these stories are a powerful reminder that our world still holds deep secrets and profound mysteries. They represent more than just monetary value. They are tangible links to our past, pieces of history that are just out of reach, waiting for that one person with the right combination of luck, skill, and determination to bring them back into the light. It's a powerful thought, isn't it? That a single discovery could rewrite a chapter of history. These legends persist for a reason. They ignite our imagination and speak to the adventurer in all of us. So now I want to hear from you. If you could mount an expedition to find just one of these treasures, which one would it be? Are you drawn to the pirate gold of Cocos Island, the artistic masterpiece of the Amber Room, or the ultimate historical enigma of the Templar Horde? Let me know your choice and why in the comments below. I love reading through your theories and seeing which legends capture your imagination the most. And hey, don't think for a second that treasure hunting is just a fool's errand. While these 5 remain lost, history is filled with incredible stories of treasures that have actually been found, sometimes by professionals, and sometimes by ordinary people who just got lucky. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, make sure you're subscribed, because in our next video, we're going to explore some of the most amazing treasures that have been successfully recovered. You won't believe what's been found. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.